Alright guys, so Nonito Donaire is going to be defending his WBO World Super Bantamweight title against his challenger Zsolt Bedak. Now, from what I've gathered from watching Zsolt Bedak, he's a fairly tough, strong, durable opponent. But the problem is his resume is pretty weak. The only name that he has fought is Wilfredo Vasquez Jr., who stopped him. This is the same Wilfredo Vasquez Jr. who was beaten by Nonito Donaire. I remember that fight a few years ago. I think it was a split decision, but I'm pretty sure when I watched it, I had Donaire winning by about 4 rounds or something. I think he won it pretty clearly. So, from what I've gathered, just watching clips of this Bedak guy, he looks pretty basic, looks pretty hittable. Tough guy, but I just think that Donaire has too much experience. I think Donaire is too sharp, too explosive, and I think he'll handle this guy pretty easily. I think he'll probably get the stoppage in this fight. Now, the reason I wanted to make this video is because I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think about Nonito Donaire and his potential? Do you think that Nonito Donaire can be a force at Super Bantamweight? Do you think he can still do great things? Because, to be perfectly honest, the more I watch Donaire, the more he looks to me like a shop-worn fighter. He's been in so many wars. He's had such a hard career, so many great back and forth fights where he's taken a lot of punches, and I just think that the wars that he's been in and the grafting that he's done all these years, I think it's taken its toll. And to me, Donaire, he looks like a fighter who is really losing his reflexes. I remember thinking that way about Manny Pacquiao back in 2011. If you look at the difference. Like, say if you look at a Manny Pacquiao fight from 2007 to 2009, and then you compare it with a Manny Pacquiao fight from 2010 upwards, just look at how much slower Pacquiao's reflexes are. Look at how he reacts to punches. Look at his feet. He used to jump around the ring like a gazelle, running around, and you couldn't see where he was coming from, and he was so sharp and just so elusive and explosive with his punches, and that's why he used to knock people out. But when his reflexes started to decline, he was no longer getting knockouts anymore. He was no longer putting people down. He was no longer messing his opponents up. And I'm seeing that same trend with Nonito Donaire. Earlier in Nonito Donaire's career, he was very explosive, very sharp. Used to really mess his opponents up. And lately, he's not been doing that. In the Nicholas Walters fight, and I thought he was just outgunned in that fight because Walters was just far bigger, far more natural at the weight. I believe that fight was at featherweight, and Walters was just too big, and he blew him away in 6 rounds. But at the same time, I thought that Donaire's reflexes in the fight looked very slow. And he wasn't really reacting very well. Like when Walters would go to throw a punch, Donaire wasn't reacting quick enough to get out of the way, and he wasn't blocking punches, and he didn't seem that elusive to me. And I just think that he ignores defense these days, whereas in the past, fights I've watched of him years ago, he was able to hang in there, he was able to jump around the ring, and he was able to not get hit as much. But he's just slowed down. I'm pretty sure Donaire's in his 30s now. I think he's like 33, something like that. Is that right? I'll just check online here. Yeah, he's 33, it says here. So, Nonito Donaire, in your mid-30s, your reflexes do start to go. And I just think that Nonito Donaire, I don't really see him hanging with the elite fighters anymore. I'm sure a lot of people would love to see him get the rematch with Rigondeaux. That's a fight I would like to see. I do think that Donaire could have done better in the first fight. Don't get me wrong, Rigondeaux was a better boxer. He had better skills, better timing, and he just outthought Donaire in there, and he outboxed him. But Donaire, you know he would have a puncher's chance. He got the knockdown in the first fight, so we know he can hurt Rigondeaux. I'm sure a lot of people would like to see him fight Santa Cruz. A lot of people would like to see him fight Frampton. Why not? Great fights out there for him, But the only thing is, I just can't imagine him hanging with those guys. I think he could make it interesting, but I just can't imagine him at this stage being able to get that hunger back, being able to get that spark that he used to have. And that's why I wanted to make this video. I just wanted to ask my subscribers, ask you guys, what do you guys think of Donaire? Do you think that this guy can be a force at super bantamweight? Do you think he should move down? Do you think he should move back up to featherweight? Let me know what you guys think. I certainly believe he's going to beat Bedak. I just think that Bedak, he just can't compare with Donaire in terms of resume or in terms of ability. I just can't see it. I think that this is just a routine title defense, and I'm expecting Donaire to get the stoppage in this fight. So let me know what you guys think. See you later. I'm out. Thanks for stopping by.